Well, the couple we're about to meet on today's Escape to the Country aren't the first who've wanted to move to their favourite holiday destination, and they certainly won't be the last. They know Anglesey well and clearly love it more than enough to want to make it their forever home. And when you look at the views you get here on this island, it's no surprise. And what's more, I don't think there are many of us that wouldn't want to be in their shoes.
And this is where we've been living for the last 30 years.
My family's lived in the area for over 100 years. 4 generations have lived in this village.
This is me in my usual backdrop. I work from home, and that's my view today. As you can see, I can see the M62 and do traffic bulletins. I'm way in the distance to the M6, and on a clear day I can usually see the traffic over there.
Chris, who works in IT, and his retired sales assistant wife Anne live with Anne's mum in her detached farm cottage within the Cheshire town of Warrington.
The reason why we want to leave the area is all this is going to be built up. So we're used to having literally no neighbours to having 1,200 houses.
Of Anglesey. I first came here as an archaeology student when I was 20 years old. This is clearly an interesting and important move for Chris and for Anne. This is the first house they've actually bought together. Thankfully, their wish list is actually pretty straightforward. They just want a home in which they can all be comfortable and all be happy.
For our first stop, we're travelling to the town of Menai Bridge, which I'm sure Anne and Chris will be happy about as it sits on the banks of the Menai Strait. But before we get started with property, we're catching up by the water's edge.
Chris and Anne, welcome back, because you know this island really well.
As soon as we cross the bridge, it is like coming home.
But was there ever any doubt that Anglesey is where you would finally decide to spend the rest of your lives?
No.
And your mum, I gather, is Welsh-speaking.
She was born in Penmar,
Yeah.
but then moved to Warrington to be with her father's family.
Yeah. And in terms of the sort of property that you're after, are you open to almost anything? Does it have to be, you know, new, old?
As long as it doesn't require any work doing to it. I'm not a handyman.
Hopefully this will be our final move. We want to make sure it's the right property for us.
So the time is right, the
Yeah.
money's right, the weather's right at the moment. Should we go and see what we can find you?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Come on.
Menai Bridge has got it all, as the streets here are packed with shops, pubs and restaurants. Its position by the water means there's lots on offer in the way of water sports for the active and freshly caught seafood for the foodies. It's easy to get about too, with a bus ride to Bangor on the mainland, which takes just 10 minutes. And not far from the town's action, but situated in a quiet cul-de-sac, is our first property.
Well, guys, here we are then. Overlooking Menai Bridge, we've got you this bungalow.
The location is absolutely perfect.
But one of the other reasons we're here is that we think it is the only bungalow currently on the market on the island. That's how much they are sought. And no surprise, those big picture windows give away the fact that it's got some amazing views. What do you think?
I like the patio area at the side there.
Yeah, the new decking, again, with lovely views out.
Yeah.
And it's a quiet street.
It looks nice.
And if we are thinking about that single-storey living for your mum, this is a good option.
Looks good.
Yeah?
It does.
Right, let's see what you think.
This sprawling bungalow was built in the 1970s and the current owners have given it a total refurb.
Right, come on in to this lovely big wide welcoming hallway off which the rest of the house runs. Let's start with the kitchen. Go in there, Anne. Tell me what you think.
Oh, wow. Yeah. An island.
An island, yeah.
Yeah.
Looking out on the view as well, look at that.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
There's the bridge.
There's the bridge, and you can see the peaks of Snowdonia through the windows there, and then through their really nice boot room, utility room, with access out to the garden as well. And then you spotted that deck on the outside there, Chris. There's the door to it there. So again,
right.
you can breakfast out there if you wish on a nice day.
Perfect, wouldn't it?
Yeah. It's lovely.
It is.
Well, a great start for sure, and I hope the positive reactions will continue as we cross the hallway to the living room, where the views are even better.
There we go. The Straits and the Britannia Bridge in all of its glory.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Nice room.
It's compact, which is what we'd like. We don't want a big room. And a fireplace.
And
Yeah.
a fireplace, yeah.
Perfect.
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 So
Yeah.
far, yes.
Good. Right, well, let's
It's all
continue.
boxes.
That's nice. Quite a light room, isn't it?
Yeah, so far so good.
Yes.
Perfect, yes.
Yeah?
Yes, yes. I can see room for the dogs as well.
Where do they normally sleep?
One on there and one on there.
Great. Well, talking of dogs, that leads us on very nicely to go out to the garden and see if they'll appreciate that. Come on.
Outside, the enclosed garden is mainly lawn, with the raised deck outside the kitchen that we saw earlier. There's also a large garage cum workshop with additional storage space under the house.
There are many points from which you can enjoy views of the mountain range of Snowdonia beyond. I guess my question really is whether it's big enough for the dogs.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Perfect.
Perfect. Yes.
I can imagine them running around this garden.
So any ideas then what this might be on the market for, Anne?
I'd say 650.
I'm going to go lower. I'm going to go 630.
£630,000. Consider this. It is currently on the market for £575,000.
Jeez.
Wow.
That's less than I expected.
Yeah.
A lot less.
And it's all done. It is ready to go.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Would you like to have another look around?
Yes,
Yes.
please.
Go on, off you go. I'll come and find you later on.
This well-appointed bungalow has a decent-sized kitchen diner, 3 to 4 bedrooms and a charming secure garden perfect for their pet dogs. As for the views and location, well, they seem to have really hit the spot.
When I first walked up to this house, I was really impressed with the location. There's nothing we would actually change. Everything was the perfect layout that we were expecting. There was no areas that wouldn't work for us. The only thing that I think both Anne and I would agree on is the ramps for getting into the house for the mother-in-law. We would probably have to do some work there.
I think my mum would like to live here. The large picture window in the lounge, she'd have something to look at. Everything's on ground level, so it would be easy way of life for her. I think she'd enjoy living here.
You know, I love property shopping on Anglesey. It is always a joy. How are we doing?
Good?
So, Chris, is this on the list, you think?
From my perspective, definitely, yes.
And yours?
Yes.
Excellent, good. But it's not over yet. Still got your money to spend.
The Exchange, a converted chapel housing over 20 local businesses, selling everything from arts and crafts to antiques. Anne and Chris are meeting Kerry Massey, a retailer of artisan gifts, to discover a bit more about Beaumaris life.
Hello there.
Hello. Wonder if you could tell us what it's like living in Anglesey.
For me personally, Anglesey is the gem of Wales. You know, you've got the best of both worlds here. You've got the peace and quiet in the winter months, and then you've got the hustle and bustle of tourism in the summer.
What about things to do for our dogs? We're really into looking after our dogs. Are the beaches
Oh,
okay?
we've got the forest. It opens up into the beaches. Everybody here has a dog. You only have to step out into the streets. We've all got dogs. It's nature lover's paradise, really.
How well connected is Anglesey?
You can get anywhere from here. You only have to drive across the bridge. 10 minutes away, you've got fantastic bus service, you've got great rail lines. Holyhead, you can get a ferry across to Ireland, but you've still got the feeling of living on an island.
What is there to see and do within Beaumaris?
Well, you've got the castle, you couldn't miss that, but walk down.
We're on our way to Tallern, a few miles inland that's only a 10-minute drive from the water. The quiet village is surrounded by striking scenery, and locals have both a village hall and a village shop. On the outskirts of the village, making the most of the panoramic views, is this old farmhouse.
Wow, look at this lot, bathed in sunshine.
Oh, I like the stonework.
I like the front.
What do you think?
It looks fantastic, doesn't it?
Yes, very nice.
Now, back in the day, it probably started life in the 1770s as quite a modest, small cottage with a series of outbuildings that have sort of evolved around it over time. But what you see now has been brought together back in 1985 when the whole lot was renovated into a huge rambling property. Obviously, it's 2-storey, but don't worry about that. There is a solution to what Mum needs here. So you wanted to escape to the country, this is it.
This is it. Yeah, and the front looks amazing, and the garden as well.
Well, you've got 2 garages too, plus an outdoor office. And I think it's so nice, you may be spending more time in there than you might wish. But who knows, we'll have to wait and see what you think of it. But come on, let's start with the house.
Thought to date back to the 18th century, the main house is built from stone with a slate roof. We're heading straight into the kitchen.
OK. Coming in, Anne? What do we think?
Nice.
Wow. It's got a range.
But you've got the island, of course, plenty of room for the dining as well, and views out over the sink.
It's like it's a proper farmhouse kitchen.
It is.
I love it. I love it.
I got goosebumps walking in.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Straight away, which
That's a good sign.
I don't know what that means, but I did. I genuinely got goosebumps walking in.
Do you need to think about your mum?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really important for us.
Come with me. Right. The new carpets are why I've made you take your shoes off at this point. But you get new carpets, that's the joy of it. But yeah, but what do you think?
Very nice.
It's nice and cosy.
Has like a snug feeling.
This is not the main living room.
Oh, right.
This could be just for mum.
Ah.
Because, look through here, she's got potentially her own enormous downstairs ensuite.
Oh,
This is perfect for her.
yeah. This is really special.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And doors out to the garden so she can enjoy that aspect as well. You two get the living room upstairs. Come and have a look at this.
Also on the ground floor is a study for Chris, a utility room and a cloakroom. Then, up on the first floor, directly above the downstairs bedroom suite,
So, welcome to your upside-down living room.
This is a big living room. Absolutely amazing. It's pretty incredible. It really is breathtaking.
Yeah.
It's something else.
I just think this house is amazing. Far exceeded my expectations.
Is it also because you're more reassured of what you can offer your mum?
Yes. That room downstairs is big enough if we all wanted to sit together to watch the TV, but yet we've got this if we want to be on our own.
Go and explore down the corridor and I'll find you downstairs.
Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Take your time.
up here there are also 3 bedrooms, all with character beams. So plenty of room for visiting grandchildren. But the largest of the sleeping quarters is reserved for Anne and Chris.
Oh, I like this. And it's near the bathroom. So even though we've not got an ensuite, it's virtually an ensuite because it's just there. Very nicely decorated. I don't think there's going to be a lot to do to this house.
No, definitely nothing so far.
It's sounding good. I think they like it.
And the bathroom, it looks amazing. And look at it. It's got a beam like everywhere else, which feels traditional and yet it's still modern.
Yeah.
Great.
Well, it looks like the house has already sold itself, but there's still lots to see outside, in the beautiful, well-tended garden. Along with the borders and hedges, there's a veggie patch, a shed, and a patio where you might sit and admire the far-reaching views.
And there they are. Smiley faces, as I hoped. Did you like upstairs?
Yes, very much so.
Amazing, isn't it?
Yes.
It really is.
Let's get down now to the business end of things. Go on, make me an offer.
I'm going to go 685.
£685,000, yeah, Anne?
I think it's the top end of our budget. I think it's 700,000.
You're both wrong.
Okay.
It could be yours, ready to move into for £650,000.
That is a lot less than we were expecting, definitely.
Yeah.
It's a pretty incredible price, really is.
Now, there is one bit you haven't seen that you would get for your £650,000, and that is the Home Office. It's all yours.
Okay.
Go and
Thank you.
explore it. Well, I will find you a little bit later on.
This farmhouse, thought to date back to the 1700s, is priced a surprising £50,000 below budget. It's got a country kitchen, a ground floor suite for Anne's mum, and 3 further bedrooms. The extensive gardens have fantastic views, and there's even a home office for Chris.
Wow, this is a lot bigger than I was expecting.
It's massive.
I'd live in here. I really would. Oh, this is more than a home office. This is a, I don't know, home studio.
When I first walked up to the house and saw the stonework, I just thought it was amazing. It really stood out. Well kept, well designed. I like the living area upstairs so that we could be on our own, and the ensuite for my mum downstairs. That's perfect for her. I would say this is the perfect house for her and us.
It's everything we wanted. It's within budget. It's in a great location.
And it's a serious contender, isn't it?
It is, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, if island life also appeals to you, here are some numbers to crunch to get you started. And let me tell you, if you weren't tempted before, you might be when you've heard this. The price of a detached property on the Fair Isle will cost you £128,000 less than the average price for the UK. Now, our buyers have a pretty healthy budget in the bank, but the good news is there are homes to snap up on Anglesey to suit budgets of all sizes. How about this 2-bedroom stone cottage in a rural hamlet to the north of the island? It's got a pretty garden and fantastic views with lots of walking opportunities right from the doorstep. It's on the market for £200,000. Or for double that, this fantastic stone cottage with a former working water wheel to one side is also up for grabs. It's got 3 bedrooms and bags of character with a well-established cottage garden. It's situated in a semi-rural village towards the west of the island. But if you want to just test the water, you could journey to the most easterly point of Anglesey and take a short break in this old lifeboat house. Perched on the water's edge, it's tastefully refurbished and sleeps 6. It comes with wonderful views across the open sea and prices start from £700 a week. Another couple who, like our buyers Anne and Chris, also left Cheshire and made their dream of moving to Anglesey a reality are Jane and David. 4 years ago they relocated to a new home in Menai Bridge and have never looked back.
Here's the orchard garden for the cottage, which overlooks the Straits and over towards Snowdonia. Before we moved here, it's a bit of an unknown how you're going to fit in to a completely new community, but we've got really wonderful neighbours who have made us feel so welcome. It was quite daunting moving away from our friends of 30 years, but it turns out you don't know how many friends you've got until you move to the seaside, and we've got quite a few actually. So unexpectedly, we are more sociable than ever. This is the kitchen of our house and one of our favourite places, and the space and the view make it a lovely place to hang out, and it makes entertaining very easy.
A massive plus of being here is access to the outdoors. As soon as the sun shines, we're out walking or on our bikes or out on the water. We've always been outdoorsy, but now we're more active and less stressed.
So the weather's great, and we've come to Snowdonia for a cycling adventure, and the scenery is absolutely stunning. There's our path taking us over the plateau.
But it's not all play. There's work involved too. They inherited a business when they moved and run 2 award-winning holiday lets.
And the view from the bedroom that brings our guests back year after year.
Now we have the time to be involved in many different things. I volunteer for Coast Watch from an amazing lookout on the coast. It's a big improvement on the view from my previous office.
It's a fabulous place to be, although it can get pretty wild up here. But I love it, whatever the conditions are. Well, as we head into our final day of house hunting here on Anglesey, I think it's fair to say that in their minds, both Chris and Anne have already moved here. They've been coming here for years, they know the island inside out, and they are in no doubt that this is where they want to make their forever home. So what have we got for our final day? Well, of course, it's mystery house time. What I'm about to show them has bags of potential, but crucially offers them loads of value for money, something this island has long been famous for.
Our last property stop is to the village of Anglesey, just 8 miles from the coast. But nothing is very far away on an island this size. So before we head to the house, we've come to the western coast of the island to Maltrythe Sands on the estuary of Maltrythe Bay, to set the scene for this side of Anglesey with some bracing sea air and yet more fabulous views.
It's a great vantage point, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is, it's beautiful.
And when you look across there, I mean, you've got the peaks of the Llyn Peninsula that juts out like a finger into the Irish Sea, and then you follow it over to Snowdonia and a view of Snowdon, which, as you will well know, you don't always get.
No.
Our mystery house is really not very far from here, so this would be on your doorstep. Not quite a property with a sea view, but ready access to the coast. That's the joy of island life, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, look, the sun is shining. I'm going to leave you here to enjoy the view. I'm going to head on to the mystery house, and I will meet you there.
Okay.
See you
Enjoy.
So while I leave them to take in the scenery at this rather special spot, for me it's around a 10-minute car journey to Llangwystiolas to find our mystery house. Well, while Chris and Anne enjoyed the delights of the beach, I get to share with you a little glimpse of what our mystery house is all about. There it is, a rambling farmhouse, been in the same family for 36 years. Now, for it to work for them and for Anne's mum, it is going to require a little bit of thought. But my goodness me, when I say potential and value for money, that is what this one is all about, because at the very least, it comes with far more land than they were ever expecting. And inside is just as exciting.
As you can see, it is full of character, and if we've learned one thing this week, it's that Anne in particular does love a bit of natural stone. Fingers crossed they'll love what they find here.
Now, they've been blown away more than once on our property tour. Can we do it again?
Welcome! Now you've refreshed yourselves, you can consider this our mystery house. What do you think of that then?
Well, it's got a similar colour to our current house.
Is it?
So I kind of walked around the corner and went, oh!
What we've got for you here is a lovely old rambling farmhouse. With, in total, 3.5 acres.
Oh,
Wow.
that's a lot.
Yeah. What do you reckon?
It initially looks like what we've got, so it'll be interesting to see how different it is inside.
The key thing with this one is figuring out how we accommodate your mum. It's not ready to go in that respect, but I think it's easily done. Intrigued?
Yes.
Don't be daunted. You look daunted. Come on, it's good.
Dating back to the 1800s, this property was originally a typical Welsh cottage, much smaller than the extended home that greets us today. In fact, the living room, kitchen and utility room would have made up the entire original footprint of the house, with everything else a later addition. We're starting our tour in the farmhouse kitchen.
What do you think, Anne?
It's the first one without an island.
The silence is deafening. I mean, it's kind of an island. It's a sort of breakfast bar. Probably the smallest we've shown you in some respects.
I think that's it. It's smaller.
It's very traditional as well.
We've spoilt you so far.
Yeah.
You've got the boot room through there with a loo, etc. But through here, there is a snug and what is currently the dining room. However, we're thinking those two rooms might afford your mum the space that she needs as a bedroom and her own living room. And then you might need to just upgrade the WC to a shower room, a wet room next door in the boot room.
Yeah.
That would be the fix, if you like.
Yeah.
Okay. But I am struggling with the silence.
Yeah, I think also because the ceiling is lower, it feels compact.
Well, let's continue into here, where you do get a lot more space.
Yes, that's lovely.
And that's a wood burner.
It is indeed. And the conservatory too that leads off with lovely views out to the more formal garden that comes with it.
Yeah.
It's nice.
It's getting better.
It's getting better. It's building. Some things are a slow burn, it has to be said. You're smiling, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, I like the stonework. I like the wood burner, and it feels more farm-like. This does feel more like where we currently are.
Okay, interesting. Well, look, you can see the staircase there.
Yeah.
Nip up, have a look upstairs, and I'll find you out in the garden.
Okay.
Off you go.
On the first floor, there's a bright family bathroom and 3 bedrooms, all doubles of varying sizes. The biggest of the lot has a smart ensuite shower room as well as a dressing room.
This must be the main bedroom.
Yeah, beautiful size, nice and big.
Yeah, fits a big bed in.
Yeah. Could imagine the dogs in here. Can you?
Yeah, but this house isn't really working it for me.
No?
Too much like what we've got. First time we're disagreeing.
Looking that way, doesn't it?
Our mystery house seems to be struggling. It may be an issue of familiarity, but let's face it, it's not completely the same. It's not next to the M6.
I'm beginning to think the bedroom's a more important consideration for the dogs than the garden. But I'm sure they'd have nothing to complain about outside with this one. There's a 2.5 acre paddock with the grounds around the house covering another acre. There are also outbuildings, including stables and a barn.
Wow. Nice to see a bit more sunshine, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
How was upstairs?
Well, I liked it because it was similar to what I'm used to today, but
I didn't.
Well, in fairness, you are allowed one disagreement. You haven't had any all week, so if that's it, after all the things we've seen, I'll take that over a series of house tours. But look, come on, that's the main bit of land that comprises the 3.5 acres or so. So it's a big old chunk. Come on, I'll show you the rest of it. This is the more formal garden that leads off from the conservatory, as you can see. It's been an interesting one, this, isn't it? It's perhaps worth thinking about what this is on the market for.
well, I'm going to go 620.
£620,000, yeah? And this is going to be interesting.
595.
This is on the market for offers in the region of £600,000.
There you go.
There is some interest from a local farmer in either renting or buying that land. Typically, you know, elsewhere in the country, pony paddocks can go for up to £10,000–15,000 an acre. So, you know, you could potentially release, you know, a few thousand from that if you decided to part with it. It might be a useful bit of change, which would certainly do any changes you needed for your mum.
Yeah.
Go on. Go and thrash it out.
Priced £100,000 below budget, this extended farmhouse offers both space and the potential for ground floor living. There are 3 upstairs bedrooms, and outside the extensive grounds cover more than 3 acres in a rural setting.
I'm kind of one of these people, if a pair of shoes fits, I'll buy the same pair next week and the week after. So to me, it immediately reminded me of home. I could see us living there.
After living in our house for over 40 years, I'm looking for something new, something different. I'm looking for a fresh start. This is a really nice home, and it would make a lovely home for somebody else, but just not for me.
Everything we do together. So if Anne says no, then from my perspective, it would have had to have been a no.
Well, we've given you plenty of choice this week, and I'm really happy that I think there could be at least 1 or 2 options on the table. So I think our work here is done, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Come on. Tired of that? I'm sure you don't either.
No, I feel very, very fortunate to be in such a beautiful place, doing something I love every single day.
Just describe this landscape for us.
So we have an open mountain behind us, which is 27,000 acres.
Wow.
The biggest open piece of space in England and Wales.
I mean, anybody coming to Wales cannot overlook the fact that farming is such a key part of what Wales is about.
We're fortunate up here, you know, to have the climate of quite a lot of rain, usually,
Yeah.
and it grows this green stuff grass,
Yeah.
which then the sheep, the cattle can eat, and that's what's sustainable about what we've got up here. We can grow some of our own crops up here, but not a lot. We've been very dependent on livestock, you know, not just for the meat, but the sheep would have been there for the wool as well. We're massive believers in sustainable agriculture.
Yeah.
So we've set up this society to make sure that we're grazing it properly, you know, a regenerative way, that we only graze it during the summer months. We have rights for 15,000 sheep up there, but we only put 9,000 up there.
Now, we talk about sustainable farming, but we can all have a go at sustainable living. I mean, lots of people who want to grow their own, and you're doing just that. Of course you are. Let's have a look at your veg patch.
It's an important part of sustainability, in my opinion, is to grow your own, Jules.
And yeah, we all need to.
Yeah.
Gareth's veg plot covers 1/4 of an acre. Here he grows around 20 different fruit and veg, which feeds his family all year round.
I will tell you, it's an amazing feeling for me to come here on a Sunday morning, pick all the vegetables,
Yeah.
and go in the house to have my own beef, my own lamb, my own chicken, my own pork, with the food I've grown out of the ground. Nothing more sustainable, more seasonal, more local, and more environmentally friendly.
So what have you got in here at the moment?
Well, you can see we've got carrots over here, we've got leeks, we've got Swedes, we've got salads coming up really well. And I'm upcycling this as well. This is manure, this is cow manure.
Yeah.
And I'm using wool as well. During the winter, it keeps the frost off.
Yeah.
Slugs and snails don't like it. And the amazing thing about wool is it's biodegradable.
Brilliant.
It's gone within 12 months.
The wool comes from Gareth's 4,000 ewes.
There's about 220 breeding mares left in the world. And when you see them where they are now, in their own natural habitat, it's just truly amazing.
And they've got free reign of 26,000 acres.
27.
27,000 acres, yeah. Well, what's 1,000 acres for two friends? You as a family and the wider family, you've looked after them for hundreds of years because this is their home and you look after that.
This is the only place that they're left free in Wales. Okay, we gather them once a year, but that's the only time they come off for a health check. These are important parts of the management of these beautiful creatures. And if we want them to survive up here, we have to leave them to their own devices.
Well, mate, I'm so pleased we've been able to see them. You can't always guarantee it when you come up here because you never know quite where they're going to be, but to find them here with the Straits behind them and Anglesey beyond, what a perfect picture. Should we leave them to it?
Definitely.
Come on, Jack. Come on, Jack.
And while we're up here, I can't resist an opportunity to savour the incredible panorama.
Wow. You couldn't paint it better, could you?
No. We have a saying, and it's a very, very special saying about this area for me in Welsh.
Go on.
Lle i'r enaid cael llonydd. A place for your soul to find peace.
Well, if your soul can't find peace here, Gareth, look at that. Cheers, mate. Well, there's no doubt that the property market here in Anglesey has certainly delivered this week, providing some tantalising options for Anne and Chris, many of which would be absolutely perfect. But of course, they can buy only one, so which one might it be? Well, they're down there enjoying the view. Let's go find out. What a spot. Wow. Well, guys, have you enjoyed your week?
Yes, loved it.
Yeah, it's been fantastic. It's been a great week.
I'm really pleased with the properties we've been able to give you this week. But if I were a betting man, I would say there is clearly a favourite.
Yes.
Would it be that lovely farmhouse overlooking the heart of the island?
Yes, yes, definitely. I can't find anything that's a big issue with it. Obviously, we need your mum
We
to
need
take
to
a
take
look.
my mum to have a look to see what she thinks. I'm sure she'll love it.
It gave us some independence as well. She had her own way in and out of the building, which I think she'd really appreciate that type of facility.
And for you two, how would you feel about being there?
I just loved it.
It was the wow factor, I think, is probably the expression. As we walked around that corner, the pair of us just looked at each other and went, and we were speechless, really. We just couldn't believe it.
I'm just so thrilled that out of a really interesting mix of properties, we have found something which I do think genuinely is absolutely perfect for you and where you are as a family. I wish you all the best and let us know how you get on. Who knows, we may come back to see how life is going in a few months or years' time. It would be great to do that.
Yeah.
We'd really
We
appreciate
really
it.
enjoyed it. Thank you very much.
I've often heard Anglesey described as an enchanted isle, and it certainly is that when you think about its landscapes, its history, its culture and its folklore. And of course it comes with the added bonus of island life and all of that sense of community and lifestyle that comes with it. That is certainly what Anne and Chris have come here looking for, and my goodness me, they are on the cusp of finding it. And if you fancy doing the same, believe me, it will cast its spell over you, I am sure, and you won't regret it. I'll see you next time.
If you would like to escape to the country in Wales, England, Northern Ireland or Scotland and need our help, why not apply online at bbc.co.uk/take part.